Alright, so just worked out some matrices program, just like I said I would. Um, so one of the main uses of matrices is in solving systems of equations where there's three equations and there's three variables. And this program that I wrote should, well, I know it does, um, give that solution. So there's a way you can actually do this by hand in your calculator, and that's by inputting pretty much all of this by hand and then running this command. And even now I'm still trying to figure out ways I can simplify this program, but this looks like a lot, but all of this is doing, all of that is just inputting the inputs into their proper places, because the alternative is to go and find the matrix to input all the data appropriately, um, by hand, and then running this equation down here, or not this equation, this command down here, which this kind of program, it might just be easier to do it on your calculator, because of you have to pull up the program, you have to input all the same things that you would regularly, and all this is really doing is just running this command instead of making you go find it. But it would be, I guess it would be easier. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, display function is going to tell you how you're going to read these. And the disclaimer here is that there's no augment command anywhere. So it's all going to be written as one matrix. And the way I set it up, and you can set it up differently, is you're going to read it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Right? So it's going to be AX, BY, ZC is equal to D, EX plus FY plus GZ is equal to H, and so on and so forth. And so what you're going to have to do is keep that in mind, because there's other ways to do it. There's other ways you could write it, and you can just change around how this is worded. You can change around how the inputs are, and that'll give you the proper, a different way of doing it. May not be better, may not be worse, kind of up to you. The tricky bit that I keep coming across is how do I make sure that everyone who runs this program understands exactly what I'm trying to do without making this line or this line too bulky or too complicated. And if it's still confusing for you, then write more instructions here so that you know what you're supposed to do. So run this command a couple times and find a video on YouTube on actually, here, I'll just do this. Ha 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 ha. So if you have inputs of, how do I do this? 1 1 1 is equal to 4. 2 negative 3 1 equal to 13, and 1 0 2 equal to 11. So when you're putting this into this program, you're just going to write it as 1 1 1 4 2, so on and so forth, all the way across. You go across and then you go down, across and then down, and your solution should be, if I have this correct, 1 negative 2 and 5. And this line down here will just display the matrix, but it'll display it as, actually I can't even copy and paste it, as these values instead of the 4, 13, and 11, and then it'll give you some 1s and 0s in here. So if that's too confusing, you can take a specific, like this refers to a specific section of this matrix, because an A is a matrix where you have the 0s and the 1s and the other numbers, whatever you want to put in there. This refers to a specific element in that matrix. So if you wanted to get specific elements of this matrix, then you could actually take, how would you do this? You can take this matrix here, and you can store it as a different matrix. Right, and then, really? I didn't have it open? I thought I had it open. Names, there you go. Matrix B. And then you would take matrix B, and you would say, display, how would you do this? Here, and then you would type in the exact elements that you want, and you would write it as element A, or the first element, which is row, and then the next one's column, which, as we know up here, it goes from left to right, top to bottom. So if you have a matrix like this one, it goes row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, because the columns go up and down like in a building, right? So if you know what the columns do, then the rows must be the other ones. And if you also look at it in like XY, your X goes across, your Y goes up and down, right? So a couple ways of remembering it, or just remember it in your own way, but columns go up and down, so then rows must go across. Remember, if you're rowing on a boat, you don't row up and down, you go across the stream. You go side to side, I guess. I don't know. Or X and Y. I really like that explanation. Is X goes across, Y goes up and down. So if you need to do your own coordinates, if you want to display specific coordinates from this matrix, which is your solution matrix, that way you can just display the solutions. So it would be like display X is equal to comma, and then you'd have whatever this X would be, which I think it'd be 1 4, and then you'd have Y is equal to comma, and then you'd have this again, but it would be 2 4. Alright, and then you copy paste, and you make this Z, you'd make this 3, and you make this, no, like, make this capital X, and really, you should be able to, now that I think about it, delete this line, and just replace it here, place this here, which makes this line longer, but if you really care, you should be able to just delete that line. However, what should be noted is if you keep that line there, I know that that works. I do not know for certain that this works. I know that works because I copied and pasted all of that onto my calculator, and I ran it, and I got the solution down here. I solved this matrix correctly. I don't know if this works, but it should. If it doesn't, then troubleshoot it, or put in what I put in, and you'll have to learn how to read it the way that it'll originally come out. This just makes it a little more explicit, so you know exactly what the solutions are. However, this also makes sure that you have to do X, Y, and Z in that order, right? So then you have to write up here, and Z, and that way you know if one of them has a Z in the front, you have to put the Z at the back. So the Z would have to go here. So if it's not in this format, then now that format matters because what you're displaying is going to be in a certain way, and it's going to matter. Otherwise, it wouldn't. So it's up to you, the give and take. It's pretty much it. There's other ways to do it with the augment command, but I'm not going to touch that unless people really want to. But this is a way you can solve the different matrices with program. So just for quick recap, if you go here, then run this program line for line, then it should give you the proper solution to the 3 variables that in the 3 separate equations. So instead of having to do it by hand. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you have any suggestions for future videos, any questions about this program or other programs that I've written, or programs that you want to see me write. Pretty much it. Oh, have a good day, and most importantly, don't forget to show your work. So, that being said, see you guys in the next one.